Hey, what's up, folks? James from Twin Engines here. So, the Tales of the Jedi series recently dropped on Disney Plus, and I decided to give it a watch, and wow, it's a pretty damn good show. An offshoot of the very much beloved Clone Wars animated series headlined by Dave Filoni, this short 6-episode series provides some much love to the prequel film era, which is my favorite era of Star Wars, focusing mainly on Count Dooku's fall from grace, with Ahsoka being the forerunner. These episodes are short, sweet, and to the point with fantastic animation, voice acting, and incredible music by Kevin Kiner. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. So let's give a brief breakdown on each entry. So the first episode is called Life and Death, which was a very great start. Loved the planet. Loved the Togruta villagers and their customs, particularly the hunting trip. And baby Ahsoka was very cute. I'm not normally the kind of guy who thinks babies are cute, but Ahsoka was pretty damn cute. I did enjoy that the villagers spoke in their foreign language, at the very least at the beginning. Later on they do start speaking basic, but I did find it very immersive. Overall, this episode somewhat reminded me of Disney's Tarzan movie, the animated one, which is my favorite Disney movie of all time, so that's good. Ahsoka fans are going to love it, Jedi fans are going to love it. I'll admit I myself do not like Jedi, but I did enjoy the story. I thought it was really great. Episode 2, titled Justice, is probably my favorite episode of the entire series. The atmosphere is so great. I mean, the planet is so creepy and dilapidated and depressing. The music is so atmospheric. Very great job on the setting, and it's very interesting to see a very young Qui-Gon and a young Dooku, their dynamic as Jedi. I'm not really a big droid guy, but I did like the 2 tons droid design. Reminds me of a Metal Gear. Loved seeing the reality of political corruptions, and you can comprehend Dooku's frustration at his limitations and just the lack of action from the Senate. You can easily foresee his eventual fall from grace from the Jedi and into the clutches of Sidious. Episode 3 is called Choices, and we continue Dooku's journey as he clashes with the Jedi Council and political corruption. We do have a young Mace Windu on this one as sidekick, being an all-out follower of the council and just rigid in his thinking and problem solving, and how incredibly frustrating that is for Count Dooku, who refuses to bow down to just the will of senators and bureaucracy. At first watching this, I easily thought that this could have been part 2 of the last episode, but upon rewatching it recently, I am glad it's there. Years have passed, Dooku's much older, but he's still just as frustrated with his limitations, and particularly with the Jedi on this one. Sadly, at the end of the episode, we see that Mace Windu gets promoted to the Jedi Council for following orders, while Dooku's the one who solved the issue, but because he didn't follow them step by step, he got just looked over. Episode 4, called The Sith Lord. This one is juicy. I can easily see this one being the crowd favorite. So Dooku's story continues. Years have passed. We finally see Dooku deleting the Jedi Archive's information on the planet Kamino, using the clearance codes from Master Sifo Dyas, so it's connected to Episode 2 here, Attack of the Clones. This takes place exactly during the events of Phantom Menace, as the Jedi speak of Qui-Gon having dueled a Sith in the planet of Tatooine. Now, as we all know, Qui-Gon is killed by Darth Maul on Naboo a couple days later. Understandably, Dooku is upset since Qui-Gon was his apprentice, and he goes to speak to Sidious about it, revealing the fact that Dooku is already in league with the Sith. Not quite a Sith apprentice yet, but the relationship is already established. He is followed by Jedi Council member Yaddle. She discovers a Sith, and now Dooku must prove his loyalty to Sidious's plan by killing Yaddle. So, no turning back here. A blood sacrifice must be made, and it plays perfectly into Sidious's hands since he recently lost his apprentice Maul on Naboo. Dooku kills Yaddle, becoming a Sith apprentice. Sidious, ever the master manipulator, has a new apprentice. Fantastic episode. From there, we go to episode 5, called Practice Makes Perfect. This one is an Ahsoka-centric episode. You see her training as a Padawan. There are a couple of cameos here by Kanan Jarrus and his master, Yoda, a mulleted Obi-Wan, and Mace Windu. You do see Captain Rex and Jesse. and there's a training montage of Ahsoka defeating some droids. Anakin isn't pleased with that since droids are predictable, so he gets her to train fighting clone troopers and anticipating emotions and all that. So it nicely connects to the fact that this is going to come in handy to when Order 66 happens, because she's able to anticipate emotions and actions and basically ends up saving her life. So this does connect to the final episodes of Season 7 of the Clone Wars. I would say this is probably the least exciting episode, at least to me. Ahsoka fanboys, Captain Rex fanboys, I'm sure you're going to love it. For me, I just found it a little boring. I could easily skip this one. And the final episode, called Resolve, takes place during Padme's funeral on Naboo during the final events of Revenge of the Sith. Ahsoka is there in hiding, paying her respects to Padme. She speaks to Bail for a little bit, cementing that relationship. Naboo looks gorgeous. Say what you will about the prequels, but their planets and locations were the most beautiful and unique. A brief time jump later to a few years in the future, and Ahsoka's living in hiding, working as a farmhand in some backwater farming planet. One of the farmers finds out that she is a Jedi and decides to snitch. Bad idea. A cool looking Inquisitor with this bird skull looking mask shows up, and I'm just about burnt out of cool looking characters that are completely incompetent. I mean, Star Wars has a rich legacy of the cooler a character looks, the lamer they're gonna end up being. So of course Ahsoka ends up killing him in like 2 seconds. Overall, these were great little stories that connect to the prequel era. As I mentioned earlier, that is my favorite era. I very much enjoyed seeing Count Dooku's progress and his disillusionment with the Republic, with the Jedi Council, and his eventual downfall to being a Sith Lord. Ahsoka also shines here. I'm not the biggest fan, as I mentioned earlier, but I know that she does have a tremendous fan base, so you're in for a treat here. The animation is outstanding. The music is fantastic. Interesting locations, planets, cameos, plenty of lightsaber action, a lot of great Star Wars fun. Perfect for that viewer that needs a break from all the serious gloom of Andor. Definitely would like to see more of these little shorts in the future. I wonder if the name Tales of the Jedi is a tribute to the books from the 90s, like Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales from Jabba's Palace, which are to this day still some of the best Star Wars expanded material out there. Screw Disney canon. I'd love to see a second season if they're continuing Dooku's story. I'd love to see him hiring Jango Fett and so on. So I think it would be really cool if we got an offshoot of this called a Tales of the Sith. And it would do the same premise, but on the other side, and we get to see Sidious and his machinations, you know. We could see maybe a flashback of him being a youngster. Was Sidious born evil, or was he manipulated that way? Also, his perspective during the prequel era events. For example, did he plan for Maul to get killed in Naboo? Or was that some unforeseen event that he had to improvise on the spot and kind of find a replacement? Stuff like that is pretty fascinating. Definitely a welcome addition to Star Wars, and lighthearted, short, easily digestible episodes for, once again, those people that really aren't vibing with Andor. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me here. So be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below which was your favorite episode or your favorite moment in Tales of the Jedi. And I'll see you guys next week, folks. Cheers, everyone.